Hello, welcome to LARP School. Today we're going back to character and your first LARP. Yes, hello, welcome back. As I said at the start of this video, going to be taking you through your first LARP, and more so your character throughout your first LARP. Now, getting into LARP can be a bit overwhelming, you know. It all depends on what you're like as a person. If you're very confident, outgoing, everything like that, then you're not going to really have too much of a problem with getting to know people and getting to know other factions. If you're more shy or more sort of introvert, it can be a bit more tricky, especially turning up at first. If it's a large event, I feel it is that little bit harder as well compared to a smaller event. So straight off the bat, my first advice to you is, if you're going to be doing a LARP, I'd say do a small one first, then go for a bigger one, and once you've done those two, see what one suits you better as a person. Whether the smaller amount of people but the more personal feel is good for you, or whether you deal better within a large group of people. For me, at the moment, I'm definitely the prior. I'm definitely more suited to the smaller events, events that my friends run even, rather than the larger events such as Empire. They're great events, don't get me wrong, do go to them, but for me it's just the number of people that sort of puts me off. And still recovering from a cold as well, so apologies if I do cough a lot. That's why I've got coffee there. So in your first LARP, the first major obstacle to get through really is finding the LARP. Now, if you're not too savvy when it comes to these sort of things, you could end up finding a LARP that maybe isn't for you. So put a couple of things in place first. Make a list if needs be. Write what kind of LARP is it you're interested in. Are you interested in medieval? Are you interested in sci-fi? Are you interested in fantasy? Are you interested in post-apocalyptic? They're just 4 types, and I know for a fact that those 4 types are definitely run within the UK. And there's more as well. For example, I know that there is a pirate one that runs in the UK. And many more as well. So what kind of LARP is it you want to do first? Secondly, what LARPs are close to you? You know, set out a boundary of how far you can travel, whether that be by train, by car, by bus, whatever way. See what's close to you as well. And if one of the ones that matches your criteria, so for example, say you wanted a fantasy LARP around 20 miles away, and one pops up, that's good. That means that ticks both your boxes. Third, how big is it? Is it a large event? Is it a small event? Is it a sanctioned event? So is it not part of the main roster? Find that out as well. And how much does it cost? Now, LARPs can be very expensive. They can range anywhere from £30–40 up to £100 for a weekend. Or you can also do a big group book of booking an entire year's events for a discounted price. Now, at your first LARP, I'd recommend just buying the one event at first. And that's because, pure and simply, if you don't like it, you're not tied into another 3 events that you're going to have to go through something that you're not too keen on. So, once you've decided what LARP it is you're going to, now next is the fun part, or at least for me, the fun part. And that's arriving. Day 1. This is all out of character. It's arriving. What do you do when you're first entering this weird magical world? It's a very bizarre time. Now for me, when I first arrived at my first ever LARP on my own, it was bizarre. Now, I'm a very socially awkward person. You may not notice it, even the people who know me may not notice it. And that's because I put safeguards in place to try and combat that as much as possible. But I'm autistic, I have ADHD and Asperger's syndrome, both quite severely. But through years of counselling, behaviour therapy, and also putting things of my own into place, I find it easier than some people also in my position to, push the boat out, make first contact. And first contact is scary shit. But when you first arrive, don't, if it's a camping thing, there'll be pictures and stuff, don't try and put yourself too out the way. Now, you may want your own private space, and that's understandable. I'm very much in the same position there. But I very much force myself to be out the way enough, but still, as far as everybody else could see, still in the group, still close. I did attach myself to a group even before IC, and it was Delmont who, now through history, now I'm in charge of. And how did I choose Delmont? The current CO was there, he offered me water, and if I'm honest, it was a horrible train journey and a lot of stuff, and everything was heavy. I just wanted to get everything packed down. So I got the offer of water, and I could put my tent up. I was like, yes, fuck it, I'm joining you. And then from there, it was getting to know people, just literally saying hi, and you'll find this a lot. During your first LARP, the majority of interaction and the majority of the way people will know you will be IC. Now, this is where, for me, it gets weird, because people get to know your character probably more than they get to know you. That sometimes this can be a good thing. Sometimes, especially if you're playing, if you want to go in, playing, an out the way sort of, I'm a loner man, I'm gonna kick ass on my own. If you play that sort of character, people will avoid you. And that won't be through any fault of your own, but through your character, especially your first character. A lot of people, quite wrongly, will judge you as the person. My first character, as I've explained before, was a heavy weapons guy. He had a Russian accent and everything like that. But he was friendly, He pissed off some of the locals, who proceeded to punch him in the face. I thought, jolly good, I'll take that punch, knockout on the floor. But there's a tiny bit of me was still in there, the openness and the warmness that apparently I naturally have was there. Just making sure I'm not getting a delivery, I'm expecting LARP goodies. So, yeah, that was really weird. But I have found that with Mavis, a lot of people can't tell the difference between me and Mavis, and that's interesting as far as I see when it comes to my character, because if anything, we are completely different as far as I see. There may be a couple of traits in there, but the way that my character would approach a situation to the way I would approach a situation are completely different. Now, me as a person, I'd go in methodically, I'd sit down, I'd plan, and especially with a troop, I would have certain places, certain people at certain points. Now, that's something I may, well, it's not something I may, it's something I will be implementing in the long run with Mavis, but because Mavis isn't army trained, I don't have a lot of army training. I was in the army cadets, got up to junior sergeant, so I've got a little bit there, but it's not proper army training. But Mavis, we're not having any military history at all, apart from the Green Cloaks, when Mavis got there nearly 3 years ago now. No, 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Inexperience with military, and quite rightly, because the species as a whole is a pacifist species, but Mavis has been around the humans for a long time, and I'm talking hundreds of years, but only more recently getting involved with the military actions of the humans. So Mavis is slowly picking up the human traits, becoming less pacifist and more aggressive, like a human. And I feel that's a natural development of the character there. But so Mavis is reckless. Mavis will just go in head first, you know, generally not caring about death, and that's because of other reasons that have happened in character as well. Mavis just doesn't care about Mavis's life anymore. It's quite sad, but things will be changing with the character, especially this year, if I survive it. There will be a lot of change, generally to be more leaderish, and so on and so forth. But with your character, as I said, I did go off on a story there, sorry. As I said, you know, do keep in mind, people will probably think they know you from your first character, even though that they're not actually going to. Which brings me on to the point. No matter how tired you are, when timeout's called, if it's not a 24-hour system, socialise after. Seriously, if there's a bar, head to the bar. Have a couple of drinks if you're old enough to do so. And get chatting with people out character. Get to know the people behind the characters. That will be your best time to socialise. And sometimes, you know, it could be time out either at midnight or at 2 in the morning, and you will be exhausted. You will want to go to bed because, you know, you may not have had a good day as your character. But that is the prime time to get to know people and for people to get to know you. You know, I wouldn't go so far to say as buy people drinks. You know, don't do that at the first event. Maybe a few events down the line, sure, buy the odd person a drink if, you know, you're close with them out of character. But don't buy drinks at a first event for other people. No. If you get a name of, you know, being somebody who'll buy people drinks, you're going to be buying a lot of people drinks, and don't do that, seriously. So yeah, OC is the best time to get to know people and for people to get to know you and the way that you are. Now, at the end of an event, during the event, rinse and repeat, you know. IC, be cool, be fascinating, be amazing. Why not? You're the hero. And OC, have a drink, have a laugh, talk to people. And when leaving, because, you know, generally it's either a month or a 2-month break between events, depending on what event it is. When leaving, you know, say goodbye to everybody. If you're a hugging kind of person, give everybody a hug and say goodbye. Why not? Be friendly, be open, and then keep in contact. You know, during the time away. It doesn't have to be, you know, talking to them every day. Just sort of every now and then going like, "Oh, hey dude, how have you been? You looking forward to the next event?" Stuff like that. And then you'll get a good name out of character being a good person. And as far as I see it, if you're a good person, the good character will come. The good character will flow from who you are. And as bad as it sounds, but if you're not a good person, then you won't get far in that system. Because no matter how different things are from the real world and the character world, if you're a dick in the real world, like hell are you going to get anywhere with your character? Because people won't want to work with you, and this is an important aspect when it comes to LARP, especially if you do get the opportunity to become a faction leader or even a ref later on. You know, if you're not a good person, people won't want to work with you. You won't be welcome to do that sort of thing. Because who wants to work with an arsehole? You know, and it's fair enough sometimes, you know, maybe the odd arsehole gets through, but generally it's with good reason. So, you know, there could be somebody who thinks, you know, they're far better than everyone else, which is fine. They might have experience in a certain place where nobody else does have that kind of experience. They may be there for the experience, if you know what I mean. So, with LARP, with your first event, it's always have fun. Be social. Get out there and make friends, both in character and out of character. Don't buy people drinks. Just don't. Just be a good person. Be you. I'm sure if you do watch this, you're not going to be, you know, an arsehole who's just all like, because it's called LARP School. So it means, you know, you're interested in learning. You want to hear, or not even learn, just hear another side of a coin maybe that you've, you know, seen for years. You may have tons of experience in LARP, and knowing that I could turn around and say something which could alter or at least give you new insight to something else is great. And I watch different videos as well. You know, I watch LARP Forge, and they're fantastic guys over in, God, I hope it's right, over in Denmark. But, you know, I watch them. Some of the tips that they give out, they're fucking fantastic. I absolutely love watching them, and especially with their builds and stuff as well. It's so easy, so cheap, but so simple and effective. And it's that community within the LARP world that I love the most. It's the fact that everybody in the LARP world is out there to learn more about LARP, to get better and to learn new little tricks, to find cheaper, better ways of doing things, and that's fantastic. So, I'll bring this video to an end. Next time, I'm not sure what it'll be. It may be another combat video. I don't really have a schedule for what videos I do in what order, so apologies for that. I may do a creation piece where I just show you what you can do with some offcuts. We'll find out in the next episode, but until then, as always, thank you very much for watching. Take care, and goodbye for now.